What's up, everybody? My name is Ryan Turford, and today, my friends, is an awesome day. We are finally playing Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc on PC. Today is actually the release date on Steam. It's $20, so it's a pretty good deal. It's one of my favorite video games of all time, so we're going to hump in here. Now, Danganronpa, in case you guys don't know what Danganronpa is, it's basically a visual novel. In case you don't know what a visual novel is basically a game almost like an audiobook in visual form. It's basically a video game where you do a lot of reading in text boxes, and it tries to tell you a story. And then there's also different elements to the game as well. It's basically in 3 sections. The first section is called Free Time, where you're basically talking to people, building relationships and whatnot, like Persona, for example. You would also have a investigation phase, because there are murders that occur in this game, and you have to investigate crime scenes and whatnot in order to figure out who the killer was and to gather evidence and all that good stuff. And then finally there's a third phase, which is the trials phase. It's very similar to Phoenix Wright. So you'll have a courtroom set up, and basically you'll go around the room presenting arguments and whatnot, basically trying to figure out who actually killed the other person. Because basically the way the game works is that Monokuma, my boy Monokuma over here, yes, we're finally playing his video game. Basically, the way the trials work is if you lose the trial, like if the person gets away with the murder, or if you accuse the wrong person, everyone in the courtroom dies except for the murderer. But if you find out who the murderer is, then just the murderer gets executed. So it's a pretty cool setup. Basically, it takes place in a high school, a very futuristic high school, where basically it's for the super gifted. First of all, just fun fact about this version, and the Vita version as well, is you have English and Japanese voices. I prefer the Japanese voices since we're reading anyways, but the English voices are pretty good too in this game. So we'll just do all that stuff there. So what I was saying is that basically Monokuma has sort of trapped all these students in the school, which is sort of for the specially gifted. And when I say specially gifted, I mean like the top people with certain attributes in the country. So for example, there's an ultimate baseball player who's like the best high school baseball player, or like the ultimate pop star who's like the biggest pop diva out of all the high school students across the country, and so on and so on. There's even an ultimate fanfic author, which is actually really awesome. So they all come together in this high school, and they're locked in it, and they basically have to either live their life locked in the school or be forced to murder the people and try and get away with it, because if the murderer gets away with the crime, they're allowed to leave. So it's a pretty cool setup. Of course, this is my boy Mr. Monokuma at work here in this intro cinematic. I love the style and look of this game. Very anime-esque, especially there's a Danganronpa anime that follows the story of this particular game, because there's actually a second Danganronpa game that came out later called Goodbye Despair, which is also coming to PC, and as well Ultimate Despair Girls, which is like a third-person action-adventure game that was released on Vita last year, in North America anyways. So it's okay. So basically what we're seeing here is just telling the story. So it's going to tell us about Hope's Peak Academy, which is basically the school that this takes place in. Basically, the controls are very simple in this game. I'm actually using my PS4 controller, but the mouse and keyboard controllers are fine, because to be honest, it's a visual novel. And even during the trial stuff where there is some maneuverability involved, whether you're using the mouse or the analog stick, either controls are fine. I mean, on the Vita, you actually use the touchscreen to do a lot of that stuff. So it's kind of cool that they sort of adapted that for this particular version of it. And basically, the button prompts, regardless of whether or not you're using the PlayStation controller or the Xbox controller, they're set up for the Xbox controller. You can't actually see the prompts in that corner over there, but it basically shows up with the different buttons you're supposed to press to keep going. Of course, I'm covering that because, I mean, it's either that or I cover up the text, and you'd probably rather read the text than actually read the button prompt. So we're basically just going to jump in here. We're just going to play a little bit of it since I'm basically want to encourage you guys to go and play this game because, as I mentioned, it's one of my very favorite games on the PlayStation Vita, which is really, really cool. So basically, you play as Makoto Negi. He's the main character. He was basically explaining here that he's actually not... He doesn't... Unlike the other students, he doesn't really have a super special skill. He's just a normal high school student. But basically, what ends up happening is that they hold a random draw in everyone in the country every single year. And one student is chosen, which is Makoto in this case, who's considered the ultimate lucky student. So he's able to attend because he's just lucky. He wins the draw out of God knows how many people live in Japan for that reason. Of course, one thing that's cool as well, if you want the text to disappear and you want to take screenshots, you can just press L1 on the controller or left bumper, and the screen disappears. Again, that was also in the Vita version as well. But it's kind of cool if you want to take your own screenshots and whatnot. I believe there's actually a screenshot mode in this particular version of the game as well, but I don't know how that works yet. I guess we'll sort of be introduced to it at some point. So of course he's going on. He's basically, he feels intimidated because everyone in the school is basically like way more skilled at one particular thing than he is, whereas he's just sort of just your average high school student. Also, one thing that's really awesome in this game is the soundtrack. I love the music in Danganronpa. Basically, the one cool thing with the Steam version, if you do purchase it early, number one, you get a discount on it. But number two, it comes with like a 10 or 12 track version of the soundtrack. It is a smaller version, because actually the soundtrack to Danganronpa is actually like 3 discs or something. So it's pretty cool that they would throw that in. It just as an extra incentive, especially for someone like me who's played the Vita version already. That being said, you actually, with it doesn't have a ton of replayability, but you can replay it and get your different relationships up to earn Steam achievements, but also just to see the differences between sort of the different students' relationship with Makoto here. So again, it's just introducing the different ultimate students. So she's the ultimate pop sensation. As I mentioned, she's basically like the ultimate school diva. And then, of course, we got Leon here. He's the ultimate baseball star. He looks very angry when he plays baseball, because that's what he does. That's what people who play baseball do, apparently. Japan itself, of course, a big baseball country. And, of course, we got the ultimate fashionista. This is Junko. She's basically just a cover model, I guess. I don't know. That's her ability. The ultimate ability to be on the cover of magazines. I don't know. And of course, we've got the ultimate biker gang leader. Of course, his hair makes him look like a snake. Just because. So on top of that, we have the ultimate martial artist, the ultimate fanfic creator, the ultimate gambler, the ultimate swimming pro, programmer, clairvoyant, i.e. a psychic, and then some. Of course, like I said, this is sort of built into Makoto's sense of being not belonging in this particular place. Although everyone apparently on the Hope's Peak Academy message board is anonymous, apparently. Of course, this is also indicating that he's basically talking about as well that there aren't really any other students like me who are like him who are basically average high school students. He's really the only one that he's the ultimate lucky student. Boom! He got invited because he was just really lucky and won like a draw. It's really cool. So basically, as it's talking about here, basically all the Hope Speak Academy is sort of designed to set people up for a life, essentially being like the top in their field eventually once they graduate, which is why everyone wants to go there. So we got to meet in the hall at 8 a.m. So he steps forward and goes into the school. Of course, he's there super early just because. But suddenly, as he's just sort of standing around, everything sort of distorts, and he basically just passes out. He wasn't brought there because of his ultimate good luck, but it's so he could experience the ultimate despair. So, of course, the game itself is split up into 6 chapters and a prologue. The prologue sort of introduces all the different characters and whatnot. Of course, there's lots of points to save, and this save interface is very similar to the Vita's save interface as well. Because, as I mentioned, it's basically a direct port. Although it looks like that Spike Chunsoft, I can't speak today, didn't handle the port correctly, directly, sorry. Although I believe that they might have had at least some input on some of the directions here. So, of course, Makoto just wakes up in a random classroom. Of course, I just love the subtle music change because of like how much more ominous this sounds now, as opposed to like the cheerful music we had going into the school. So the one thing that I'm noticing right away about this, not that the game really needs it, because as I mentioned, it's really a visual novel, is the game itself runs a lot smoother. Again, it is because I'm running it on PC rather than on the PlayStation Vita, but it looks like all the rooms sort of run it like super smooth, like at 60 frames a second, despite the fact that, like I said, there's no real reason for it to do that. But it looks pretty cool. Like I like the look of this particular version. There's a lot of good visual options as well on this particular version of the game. Like you can totally customize like anti-aliasing or the visual size and whatnot. So it's pretty cool to have a lot of different options for the look of this particular version. So basically, he looks up at the clock and finds out that it's actually 8 o'clock. So this is where one of the interaction elements, basically I'm controlling this using the right analog stick to look around. The left analog stick controls this little cursor here. And basically we're here to interact with all the objects. The reason why is we're trying to sort of explore our surroundings. Of course, we got the Monokuma's cam. Of course, the windows are bolted shut. It's thick, too. Very solid. So, of course, there are metal plates over the windows. Of course, that's not supposed to happen. There's a note here, so let's read it. Wow, he left a line of drool, ladies and gentlemen. So we got the orientation guide here, which is literally just like a kid wrote like a handwritten note or something. The next semester is about to start. Starting today, this school will be your entire world. Bum bum bum. Alright, so basically, he's just curious as to what's going on. It looks like we've interact with almost everything except maybe the monitor over there. But basically, since it looks like we've interacted with everyone, we can actually just leave. So if we press B or circle, in this case, you can leave the area. And now, this is one of the other elements. You can explore in first person around the school and go to all the different rooms. There's actually a fast travel system later in the game once you've actually gotten past the prologue. But for now, we'll actually just navigate around the hall here. Yes, we move the left stick to move around. Hold down B to run, or circle. You can press Y to bring up the map. Of course, the map actually is an overlay like this, so you can always just have it up if you're curious as to where the fuck to go. Of course, we can go explore a lot of these areas once the prologue's over, but during the prologue, we're sort of locked into what we can do now. One thing that I'm noticing is that the turning controls on this is like driving a battleship. It definitely controlled a lot better with the analog sticks on the Vita version. Maybe that's just because I'm using the PlayStation 4 controller, possibly. But it feels like something's a bit off with the way we're turning here, because you can sort of see that there's like a little bit of resistance there. That wasn't really present in... Oh, wait a second. Oh, I'm a dummy. Okay, so I was just using... Again, basically we want to sort of use the left stick to move up and down, and then we want to use, like, the right stick to look up and down, and so on and so on. If you try and use both at the same time, it does this, which sort of stops you. Because it also, the left analog stick can be used to move back and forth like that. See, I'm learning all this stuff. Again, you're getting basically my raw first impressions of this version, because, as I mentioned, I haven't actually played the PC version before, since it's out today, so... So we got to the main hall where everyone was supposed to meet, and of course, everyone was already there. So these are all the ultimate students. So of course we're standing before everyone, and then we're going to get a chance to get introduced to all these crazy kids, and it'll basically give us all their abilities once we talk to them. So of course, the front door has fucking minigun there just to keep us in, you know? So it looks like everyone sort of had the same issue. God, this game looks so good on PC, actually. It's one of the better looking Vita games as well, but it just really pops on the PC. It's really our first time getting a chance to see it on the big screen like this without using a PlayStation TV, which is the other way to sort of experience this on your big TV. Although, again, this, like, time will tell as to whether or not this is the type of game that I would really want to play on PC, or if it's more of a game I would like to play on the road. Because it was really cool to, when I was going to Japan, actually, is when I was actually playing this game for the first time. So, it was pretty cool to have that, like, just that experience on the go. Though I guess if you had a laptop, you could just be on the go with it, so who knows. This game takes about 15 to 20 hours to beat, actually, so it's a pretty lengthy game, actually. Although it does take a lot less time if you know a lot of where all the evidence is and whatnot. So we're gonna get to know everyone. Alright, so they're gonna introduce us 5 students at a time. And again, the game won't progress until we talk to everyone at least once. Of course, we're gonna look at the Gatling guns. A surveillance camera with what looks like a gun attached to it. There's no way that's a real gun, right? And of course we got the giant door here. Holy cow, what's with this huge metal latch? It's basically like they're in a big military base, which is funny. Alright, so we're going to talk to Sayaka first. Or Sayaka. I can't speak today. So, of course, she's the ultimate pop sensation that we were introduced to before. So she's basically the lead singer of this pop group. Aw. By the way, she's totally psychic. Of course, he's just like, why won't you talk to me? He's just so angry all the time. So of course, Sayaka actually knows Makoto, but it's gonna actually get to that later. So we're gonna talk to Toko. She doesn't really like people. She is the ultimate writing prodigy, so she's basically a novelist. Yeah, she writes, like, romance novels, but she's totally like, I don't like people. She likes when people stare, but also hates it. It's great. She's actually one of the characters in Ultra Despair Girls as well, which is the later Danganronpa game. She just does not like people. Makoto's learning that the hard way. So we're going to talk to Ishimaru here. He is one of my favorite ultimate... He is the ultimate moral compass, i.e. the ultimate hall monitor. He's basically the embodiment of all that's good. Or, apparently, that's the way it's supposed to basically be here. So he respects the rules above all else. That's what earned him the title. He's just so extreme about everything. And I love the fact that his hair is totally spiked too. And his eyes just look so crazy because he's totally like a Super Saiyan hall monitor, essentially. Makoto's just like, I don't want to deal with this guy. So we got Leon here. He's the ultimate baseball player. Again, we were introduced to him a little bit earlier as well. Despite the fact that his hair is also totally crazy, and he's got piercings and kind of does not dress like a baseball star at all. Really. apparently baseball players like shaved heads, apparently. Oh jeez, he doesn't like his look when he's playing baseball. Yes, Leon is a crazy motherfucker as well. A lot of these people are crazy motherfuckers. Of course, he himself is super good at baseball, but does not like baseball. Of course, because why not, right? So, of course, he wants to be a rock star. He's got the rock star look down, but it's just like, eh. Like, super cool to the max, yo. And then, last but not least, we got Hifumi. Hifumi, of course, is also one of my favorites. Because he is the ultimate fanfic creator. Because why not, right? Everyone loves fanfiction, apparently. He tainted the event. Oh, god damn it. Also, 10,000 copies in a small country like Japan is actually a lot. Also, he has got an amazing tie, because his tie points to his face. And yes, I have Legos on my desk next to my microphone. I apologize for that. Of course, embracing fanfiction is, of course, embracing our deepest desires. Oh, Jesus. Alright, so we got 5 more students. So, of course, we got Mondo. He's basically the ultimate biker leader that we were introduced to earlier. And yes, his hair makes them look like a snake, and that's on purpose. Oh, geez, nice to meet you. And of course, they're just like, they just don't want to talk to each other. So now we've got Junko here. She's the ultimate fashionista. Of course, she's very fashionable, which is why she's on all the magazines. She also has a tie on, because why not? Oh, geez, they photoshopped her cover. That's the reason why she looks different. All you have to do is make your eyes and junk super big and tweak the skin so it looks chromatic and porcelain. Sure. He's just like, oh man, I'm so disappointed. So of course, Kyoko, probably my favorite character in this game. Again, she doesn't really talk much. She just sort of hangs out. Unfortunately, we don't know what her ultimate is. It's just a question mark. Again, she's pretty tight-lipped, so she doesn't really talk. Except for her name. Oh geez, she just is so secretive. She just doesn't want us to know who she is. Alright, so now we got Chihiro. Chihiro is the ultimate programmer. So she's really good at computer programming. And also really likes video games. I don't think so. We met for the first time, which is why I said, nice to meet you. Aww. Made her so sad. Of course, she's always apologizing for just about everything, because that's just who she is. So last but not least, we got Asahina. She is the ultimate swimmer. That is her ability. She swims and swims and swims. Of course, she's going to be training for the Olympics, but I don't know if she'll be escaping to train for the Olympics. That was a horrible evil laugh, I'm sorry. Of course, why not? Of course you look kind of like that name. Oh, Jesus. She was writing it on her hand, but she didn't know what it was called. He's like, sure, and sort of backs away. And yes, there's a siren going on outside, so why not? Alright, so the last four that are left. We're going to start with Sakura. She is the ultimate martial artist, who she was mentioned before. She is really, really good at Kung Fu and martial arts. And having a ton of scars, because why not? And yes, Sakura is actually a girl, not a dude. She's just very, very, very muscular. Some call her Ogre. Why? Because why not? Of course, Sakura is actually just a big softie. Just most people don't know that. Oh, geez, she doesn't like the muscular quality and quantity of her. Alright, so now we got Bakya. He is the ultimate affluent prodigy, so he's basically the ultimate entrepreneur. He's basically like the son of a big business conglomerate. He just doesn't want Makoto to just sit there and stare at him. Alright, so of course we got Yasuhiro. He is the ultimate clairvoyant. Of course, his hair is all over the fucking place. And he is basically the ultimate psychic, essentially. Or ultimate fortune teller. And yes, he has a crystal ball. He just hasn't whipped it out yet. A guardian angel with a crazy perm chasing after Bigfoot running off with a skyfish in its mouth. Yeah, he's a little out there. That's just kind of his thing. Let's get some brewskis sometime. Very, very Canadian, despite the fact that he's kind of out there. He's actually 21, has been held back a bunch of times. Because, yes, of course, they're freshmen in high school, and he's 21. Alright, and last but not least, we have Celeste, who, like Cher, is just Celeste. She just didn't have a last name. Well, she does. She doesn't go by that. So, she's the ultimate gambler. So, she's good at gambling. That's her special skill, is being able to gamble well. Huh? So, of course, Celestia Lundberg is sort of the alias she goes under, but she just wants everyone to call her Celeste, which is why introduces her as Celeste. And really, they don't talk about her name other than Celeste for a while. So she's apparently never lost a bet in her life ever. So imagine just being really, 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 really good at playing the lottery. That's what she does. And yes, she is a gothic Lolita girl who is totally dressed in goth clothing. Alright, so now we've introduced everyone to everything, and that we've learned all the ultimates except for Kyoko's, of course. So apparently everyone was sort of showed up and then sort of woke up on a desk, just like Makoto did. I love all the little animations they give all the characters in this visual novel as well. Again, that's something pretty common with visual novels as well. A lot of times the characters are 2D and flat, but they convey their emotions with different versions of themselves, like different portraits. So of course when we came in there was no giant metal door with guns and cameras attached to it. So it's completely different than before when we first entered. Ding dong, bang bong. So of course, here we go. Of course, it could be any bear that's behind there. So of course, Mr. Monokuma's voice is totally out there. It is very, very strange, especially if you listen to the English version as well, because his voice is so cheerful and playful, despite the fact that he will murder you in your sleep. So of course, he'll be waiting for us at the gymnasium. So of course now the music changes along with the tension now that everyone is freaked out. So of course Togami's going straight there. Or of course Yasuhiro is just like, oh, I'm sure it's probably nothing. It's probably fine. I'm sure that the giant stuffed teddy bear on the other end of the line there is probably fine. So of course, Makoto is really the only one that's freaked out. Well, Sayaka is as well, it looks like. So yes, we're gonna save. So instead of going to the gym, actually, this is actually where we're going to cut our Let's Play off. So I want to say thanks again for watching. If you liked this video, like I said, subscribe, share with all your friends, all that good stuff. Of course, I want to encourage you guys to go play this game for yourselves, because it is fantastic. If you like anime or visual novels, I mean, first of all, I had never actually really got into a visual novel before playing Danganronpa, so this was sort of my intro into visual novels and how much I actually really like visual novels now. But this was really my first one that I really got into. So I encourage everyone to go check this out. Again, it's on Steam. It's $20. It comes with a free soundtrack, and it's discounted 20% off right now. So go check that out. Of course, you can find me on Twitter at Ryan Turford. That's Turford. You can also find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ryan Turford. And last but not least, if you're looking for a video game podcast to check out the Game Moose podcast. I co-host it every single week with Drew McMillan. You can find us on iTunes. Just search for Game Moose on iTunes, and it should come up right away. So you can find us on www.talkmoose.com or facebook.com/Game Moose Podcast. Of course, new videos go up Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on youtube.com/Ryan Turford. So keep it locked to this channel. Again, I'm Ryan Turford, and thanks for watching. I'm out.